Turn right to stay on via Cansiglio, then your destination will be on the left.
Beautiful here. Honestly, the weather is amazing. It's a little hot, but the cool breeze just makes it worth it. And then just everything around you is just so flat. It's kind of like you're in the Sound of Music.
So we have deer on the menu, we have lamb, we have a lot of specialties only from this area. So this is not a typical thing you'll see in the touristy cities when you usually visit. Place is really good when you can get a liter of wine for 10 euro. I mean, yeah, there's water, but you know, that's for later. We took the more scenic route, and let's just say I don't think that road has been fixed probably in the last 100 years. But the drive, I think, was definitely worth it. We persevered, and now we're going to reward ourselves with some incredible meat.
I'm not surprised that this place is pretty packed right now. It's getting even more busy, and somebody's probably going to want to sit next to us because even though it's Friday, there's still a lot of people showing up right now. So in August in Italy, a lot of times for the entire month, everywhere you go is kind of shut down because people go on vacation. So this may be one good indication of why there's so many people here.
Very curious how the wine's gonna hit us because we're about a 1,000-meter elevation. As I was talking, we got our appetizer. So you just have a pile of meat and cheese, jam, different salumi. I'm not even sure what type of meat this is. It's whatever's in season and whatever they can get their hands on. So again, like Vernon likes to say, we're not complaining, we're just gonna enjoy this. So let's start with this cheese. I'll start with the closest without jam. It's a little gamey, but like maybe it's cheap, I don't know. I'm not a cheese connoisseur yet.
Right, I'm not going to the cheese, I'm going straight to these guys right here. Ooh, wow, that's really good.
Is that speck or no?
I don't know what this one is. One of the downsides to not knowing Italian very well is you don't really know what you're eating half the time. It's all good either way, but I guess we really got to start learning Italian.
No, but he didn't tell us. He just kind of handed us a thing of meat.
Oh, it's so soft.
But I think it's sheep cheese.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bitter.
It tastes like that, yeah. I'm not a huge cheese person. This is pretty good though. Even better with the jam.
The jam, I think that's pear. It's very
Definitely
soft.
pear, yeah.
Yeah, very soft. The kids are just having the time of their life behind you. There's a horse over there. I mean, honestly, it feels like we're in the start of a movie. The salami, because I feel like one of these dogs is about to steal it from me. A little bit of my hair. That is the freshest salami I've ever had in my life. You don't have to chew it. Like, I think when they were cutting it, look at this. It just falls apart. Look at that. Oh my god. Oh, it's melting in my arms.
Okay, so you don't really see corn very often in Italy, like corn on the cob or anything, but this is one of the ways that they do use corn a lot here, it's called polenta.
Like it doesn't look very appetizing, but trust me, like when you're eating very meat-heavy dishes, it's like the perfect balance.
If you've ever had grits, this is pretty much the closest thing I can describe it to. It tastes just like that.
Forget the water, let's see how the wine is.
Good. It's not going to blow you away in any way, but this is the kind of table wine that you get at a lot of restaurants.
So house wine.
House wine. Yeah, house wine or table wine. Awesome stuff. It's also probably one of the best ways that you can get wine without having to spend a lot of money and still getting something quite good. Basically, a lot of restaurants, if you see bottles of wine for 15, 20, or even 50 euro, that can be quite normal. But when you ask for the table wine, that's probably going to be 10 euro for a liter.
Last piece of cheese. Don't say I'm not romantic. This is how you do romance in Italy. This is how you know you're in North Italy. Is the food starts to get influenced big time by Austria and Germany versus what you would get somewhere if you were in Tuscany or Rome or Sicily, which is to come, so stay tuned.
Enough talk, let's try it. Oh my god.
You have lamb.
It's so soft. It's like you don't even have to chew it. If you didn't have teeth, you could eat this pretty much with no problem. The mushrooms, probably pretty much as well. I used to hate mushrooms, but actually, Italy's kind of gotten mushrooms to grow on me. No pun intended.
So that's polenta. What is that? Is that frico?
I think it's frico. Again, another thing, like Mariana said, this is another Northern Italy thing.
It's a friuli thing.
It's like a fried cheese, basically. They fried cheese into this thing.
How much cheese is too much cheese?
Imagine a grilled cheese sandwich without the bread.
Sometimes there's potato. I think there's a little bit of potatoes in there, right?
Yes. Whoa.
I'm gonna steal some of that.
Very salty. If you couldn't eat too much of this, otherwise you'll probably fall asleep.
But look at the views too behind you. So for my dish, I decided to be a bit more risky and I went with the deer. If you follow us on Instagram or TikTok, you probably would have seen that we had deer last week. We found another restaurant in the mountains, which we will take you to also, but let's try this deer. But this feels like I'm eating like the deer meat. It's very gamey, a little chewy, but still very tender. But you feel like you're eating like the soil, the herbs. It's almost kind of floral in a way. If you had deer before, you know what I'm talking about. But I know deer are cute, I know, but this is delicious. Sometimes when you go to a place and you want something, they have this tart with berries, but it's only when it's in season and only on Sundays, which is not today. Which ones would you guys choose from this list? The portions here are very generous. Very, very generous. And since we're getting dessert, there's only so much space.
I feel kind of bad a little bit because I couldn't finish everything, but I still had to make room for dessert and I didn't want to explode, so I had to leave the little collateral damage on the plate there.
Moderation, that's why.
Moderation is key.
What are you eating?
It's like a gelato with like wild berries. I think they call them, like forest berries. Super fresh, super cold. It's perfect on a day like this because it's probably like 85 degrees outside. Amazing.
And we have their house-made apricot tarts. But that's the star of the show. So this is made here, and I think it's from their cows. So I think this is as fresh of a gelato as you could possibly get.
It's also super, super sour too. It's like eating really, really sour candy. So it kind of works out. The cream and the sourness kind of balances out.
Whole Foods ain't nothing compared to this. No Italian meal would be complete without gelato. You were right. Oh, it's very sour. Even the gelato itself, I don't think there's any added sugar. It is very, very organic. Let's try this apricot. Ooh. Usually we get these in Tuscany, but this sounded just really, really good here. This would be amazing with a cappuccino, but it's 2 o'clock, so you cannot order a cappuccino. Isn't it amazing that you always finish the dessert? All gone. Well, we really hope you enjoyed today's vlog and our dining adventure. I think Vernon really enjoyed it.
Okay, so yeah, I guess we barely had enough space left for that dessert. It was amazing. The rest of the food was amazing. The wine was great. I mean, we never really complain a whole lot here in Italy anyway when it comes to food, but today was pretty exceptional, and the views probably even better than the food. Ciao!
It's like the beginning of every horror movie.
All this for lunch.